Hi, how are you doing? It's good to be with you. I hope you're doing really well at the moment. You, your family, your friends, your school. What's your favourite thing about God at the moment, right now? Well, we're talking today about some characters that appear a lot in the Christmas story, and also many other stories in the Bible. We're talking about God's angels. What do you know about God's angels already? Why not pause this video and come up with a top 10 list of your favourite things about angels? Maybe draw some too. Well, here are a few of my favourite things about angels. They are straight from God, so they're always there because of God's love for the world and God's love for people, and that includes you. They are always at the right place for a purpose, maybe to tell some good news, some great news, or give a warning to people, or give reassurance of love, or ask someone to do something, or to challenge someone, or to protect someone. There's a wonderful verse in the Bible, and it's in Psalm 91 verse 11. It says this: God will command his angels to take care of you. Let's all say that. God will command his angels to take care of you. Another one. They appear at just the right time, so we know, regardless of what's going on around us, that God's timing is perfect, and he knows everything about what's going on everywhere. Another one. Very often, the angel's first words to someone they meet are God's most frequent commandment in the Bible. Do you know what this is? How would you be if you saw an angel? Bear in mind that most people who see an angel would be rather surprised, if not shocked, if not completely terrified. Well, do you know what these words are? Often, the angel's words to someone they meet are these: do not be afraid, or do not fear, or do not worry. Now, many of us feel worried for many different reasons at many different times, particularly through this year maybe. I wonder, what difference does the angel's message, do not be afraid, do not fear, or do not worry, make to your life? Maybe pause the video and just have a think. My other favourite thing about angels is a real-life angel story. In the meantime, here's an angel story in the Bible about an elderly couple who played a part in a Christmas story, but we don't always hear a lot about them. They're not mentioned in any Christmas carol, but they are so important. So where do they fit into the Christmas story? Well, Elizabeth and Zechariah are their names, and they were related to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And this story happens about 6 months before the angel appears to Mary. Have a watch of this.
We could tell God's story,
just through the bits that you know.
The famous familiar parts.
but first meet some people not often heard about.
How God gave them
The desires of their hearts.
Here's an elderly,
childless,
Faithful couple.
I'm Zechariah.
I'm Lizzie.
We've been hoping
And praying.
for a child.
Oh, for years and years.
and serving God.
they kept themselves busy
It was Zechariah's turn in the temple that year.
to ask God to forgive all the folk.
For their thoughts and words and deeds that were wrong.
Causing guilt to be carried around like a yoke.
While he was serving,
God's angels appeared.
fear not, Zechariah,
Your prayers have been heard.
you'll have a child.
Call him John.
John?
Keep expectation of God always higher
He'll be a delight.
and a joy.
He'll be filled with God's Spirit.
He will bring many people back to their Lord.
How can this be? We're so old and tired. God's plan sounds really quite flawed.
We're standing in the presence of God Himself, bringing you this amazing revelation.
Because of your doubt, you'll be silent until he's born.
Well, we'd better hand back to the narration.
Back home with Elizabeth.
It was awkward.
Oh, and blissfully quiet.
Was Zechariah unable to talk?
So he explained to his wife what the angel had said.
Mostly using gestures.
A slate and some chalk.
Zechariah, We've been mocked and looked down on for years and years. I've been accepting that's just how things will be. But now God is healing our emptiness and extending our family tree.
There had been lots going on.
which many could miss, preparing for God's promised new era. For instance, over 300 prophecies.
About the hows, whens, and whys.
And then, when the time drew nearer and nearer,
It was time for God's plan.
So we could know him completely.
this would change the world for good,
So he needed 2 people.
Who would work with him closely.
despite being misunderstood.
This was a special job.
God knew it wouldn't be easy.
It really would be tough,
He gave it to Mary.
And her fiancé, Joe.
Aww.
because they were faithful through the good and the rough.
So my questions are, what can we learn from this story? And where else do we meet God's angels in the Christmas story? Or in the whole Bible? And what are your favourite things about God's angels? I have an angel story, which has had a big impact on my life. A while ago now, late one night, although I was awake, I suddenly had a kind of dream of millions of angels protecting a friend of mine who was travelling on a train a long way away in a different country. This dream of mine was so powerful that I had to tell my friend about it afterwards. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, my time, in London, where I was. And it was about 4 o'clock in the morning where my friend was. So I emailed her the next day and I told her about the dream, and I remember receiving a reply relatively quickly afterwards. She couldn't quite believe what had happened. She had been travelling on a train in a country far away at the time. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, that's 2 o'clock our time in the UK, she was feeling very unsafe and very scared because of some other passengers who were making her feel very uncomfortable. She remembered a certain verse in the Bible, in the Psalms. Psalm 91, verse 11. What does it say? God will command his angels to take care of you. Feeling scared, she prayed that this very thing would happen for her and the other passengers in a train. What was happening is that while she was praying to God for his angels to protect her, I was seeing the angels protecting her in my dream. So what are your favourite things about God's angels? Whatever they are, may you know the peace and protection of God's angels this Christmas. Have a very happy Christmas. See you next year. Bless you and your families lots.